Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome back to another video lesson. I am Mr. Mohib, and I haven't done a lesson in a very long time. And I saw that some people were commenting on my previous videos from last year, and someone actually requested a short story video, and I said, I have some time now, so I will try to get it done now. Hopefully, it can help you all who are writing exam in a few days. I want to thank everyone for the feedback so far on my previous videos. Okay, it's much appreciated, and I hope to do more in the future. So, today's small video lesson, short video lesson, just a recap of what you would have learned over your 5 years at secondary school on narrative writing, short story writing. Okay, so we all know that the narrative and the short story is something that always comes for CXC English, and you will have to write a narrative essay. And we have been writing narrative essays since SEA, since primary school. But with time, we have developed more skills in storytelling. But we have to always remember the basics, okay? So what this video is intending to do is just run over these basic tips and these basic traits of a narrative essay, a short story, okay? So first thing we want to look at: a short story must contain an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Your body is usually 3 paragraphs. Your intro and conclusion is a paragraph each. So you're looking at generally 5 paragraphs. Now, this can change according to how you write your essay, but you don't want to go over your word limit. Okay, so if you can structure your paragraphs in such a way that you don't go over the word limit, then you may have more paragraphs in that regard. But generally speaking, you have an introduction, which is 1 paragraph, a body of 3 paragraphs, and a conclusion of 1 paragraph, giving you 5 paragraphs in all. Now, when we are telling a story, it is of utmost importance that we understand that we are building up to a point of climax. This is the highest point of action in the story. So what you really want to look at is the nature of your story in its intensity. You do not want to start off your story with all the action happening in one time. You want to build to that point of action. So you intro your characters, you intro your setting, you set the stage up, okay, and then you bring in the problem, and then you bring the problem to its highest point, and then you resolve the problem, right? You give it its ending, its resolution, which is the conclusion. Now, the next point is the essay should contain language which paints a picture and engages the reader's senses. So if you're going to describe a setting, you want to get into the colors, you want to get into the smell, you want to get into what you are hearing, okay? How did that morning appear to you? How was the sun bright? Was the air crisp? All these adjectives you need to use to bring this vision to the reader. So your adjectives are very important, and your vocabulary is very important. So you want to use all the adjectives and adverbs you can to describe the way you walked down the road, the way you saw this person driving down the road, the way the birds chirped in the morning, if it is that you are setting up the story like that. And everything else to follow must be described in such a way that the reader could see, smell, hear, taste, whatever sense is being engaged. All right? Also, the story has to be credible. It has to be believable, and it has to develop in a way that is believable. You don't go from 0 to 100 one time, okay? You don't write something, and when a reader looks at what you write, they say, this people don't act like this. Make your characters mirror the realities around you. So don't make people act irrationally. Then the story will not be credible. Okay? The setting as well. Use settings that you can relate to. Don't opt to go to describe a place which you've never been to, then you can't describe it properly. Talk about the city. You're accustomed traveling in the city, you can talk about the city. If you are, you're always in school every day, talk about school if that is where you want to put the story. Talk about your village. Okay? Use elements of your village, elements of your school. You don't have to name it by the same name as your village, but you can do that. The same name as your city or town. You can, but you want to take elements that you would have seen, the busyness of the streets, the stores, okay? In school, the teachers, the people who you interact with. These are the people you are pulling the ideas from on how to describe people, how to give people certain traits, and that makes the story believable. Instead of you just talking about some phantasmagoric character that you have never met in real life and you try to make people believe that this person is real. Okay? Please keep it believable. Now, there should be direct speech. So we have onomatopoeias like boom, bang, and so on that you can use when in your introduction to get the reader engaged and make the, an impact, make an impact as soon as it starts. But you also want to show that your characters have a voice. So and you can use dialect if you wish. So if someone is saying, hurry up, let's go, all right? Or if you even want to put in a little dialect, come na man, you can do that. Exclamation marks, question marks, inverted quotation marks. All these things need to be used to bring life to the character, the things that they say. You can't write a whole essay and no one in the essay spoke. Someone has to speak, right? People have to speak in the essay. We need to hear their voices through direct speech. Now, a common mistake a lot of children make is that they start the essay properly in past tense. Now, you can choose any tense, but usually an essay is taught in the past tense, written in the past tense, right? Now, you want to start off, I got up one cold Monday morning, and you're going down the road with the essay, and then all of a sudden, I walk into school, I see this person. That should not be so. It should be, I walked into school, I saw this person, okay? The verbs have to be agreeing with the tense that you started with. So if you start in the past tense, make sure you have your ed after your verbs accordingly. Stopped, walked, instead of see, saw, right? We have to use the correct tense. And then, of course, paragraph your work, students. If it's 5 paragraphs, if it's more, paragraph the work. How do we paragraph? We indent, okay? We don't skip lines, we indent, okay? About 2 to 3 finger spaces, as we would have learned when we were small. Now, here is the diagram of the plot, which is the events in the story. You have an exposition, also known as the introduction. That is the beginning of the story, where characters and setting are introduced. This is where is the story taking place. You tell people, it's Monday morning. I woke up at home. I got ready for school. I got in a taxi and I arrived at school. So we know that how the essay is about you and your day at school. Where the main character faces a series of conflicts is the rise in action. So now, in the second and third paragraphs, you bring in other characters and you bring in the problem. What is it? You didn't do your homework. Okay, no, somebody in school is bullying you. Whatever is the problem, you start to develop that problem. And then you go to the climax, which is the highest point. So by the 4th paragraph or so, you get into this high point of action, where you and your enemy in school, the bully, you end up in a fight. And people have to pull you off the bully, and then the dean of discipline comes, and then it goes into the resolution. You all went into the principal office, right? And then your parents were called in and you all were suspended or whatever. This is the resolution. Now that's where the fall in action has to take place with the resolution. So we're looking at paragraph 1 for the introduction, paragraph 2, 3, 4 for your rise in action and your climax, and then paragraph 5 your action falls and your resolve in the end. You say that's how you learned your lesson. Many of these topics ask you to use a phrase at the end, and I learned my lesson that day or whatever. That is how you resolve the story, okay? So the events lead up to that lesson in the end sometimes. And that's the plot. We have been learning this for years. You all need to remember to follow this. So your format is very important. Using 5 paragraphs and making your paragraphs function like this, what this diagram is showing is very important. So even if your essay was not the most original, or it was not the most well written in terms of grammar, you still will get marks for the fact that you follow the format, students. All right. Now, lastly, I would like you all to go to these websites here. You have caribexams.org. I'll put the websites in the description as well, so you could probably copy and paste it into your browser. And CSEC English Made Easy, where you will see sample essays. Read them. See how these essays are written. This is how you have to write the essays, students. Now, I hope this short video lesson was helpful. All right. I hope to do more. I have some time now. I will try to do more. I know people have CXC very soon. So again, I did this video because of the prompt from one of the students who asked for this video. And I'm really happy for the feedback I've been getting from my last videos, which I did in a lockdown situation, and now we are once again in a lockdown situation. So I will not wait for a next lockdown next year to do another one. I'll try to do some more for you all. Okay, so you all, I hope you all have a great exam season and all the best with your studies. Take care.